I'm reviewing Anything Could Happen by Bash and Pop. Tommy Stinson was still in his early teens when he co-founded one of the great rock and roll bands of all time in The Replacements. When their gloriously ramshackle career came to an end in 1991, Stinson went on to play bass in Soul Asylum and Guns N' Roses, but not before he'd formed a group called Bash and Pop, which released one album in 1993. Now, 24 years after that record, Stinson has drafted in buddies from bands like Guns N' Roses, The Hold Steady and even You Am I to create album number 2. It's a case of the apple not falling far from the tree because Anything Could Happen is reminiscent of late-era Replacements, particularly albums such as All Shook Down. It's whiskey-soaked and full of tales of life's ups and downs, set to a melodic collection of barroom rock and roll that soars with hooks and swaggers with the unfiltered honesty of Stinson's lyrics. On the country-tinged ballad Anytime Soon, he sounds like a man worn down but defiant as he drawls, "You won't find me dangling from these rafters anytime soon." It's an album that grows better with each listen. What at first might seem a bit run-of-the-mill soon sparkles with anthemic charm. Not every track manages that feat. Bad News and Jesus Loves You never really get out of second gear. But for anyone who loves The Replacements and their hard-on-your-sleeve style of blue-collar rock and roll, it's absolutely worth your time. Lindsay, did this rock your world?
More than anything Guns N' Roses has done since Tommy Stinson was in the band. I know very little about The Replacements besides Paul Westerberg, and so I loved learning about this band that had started after The Replacements and kind of done nothing, fizzled out.
Yeah.
And then back with this awesome rock and roll album, which does grow on you with each listen, and you find intricacies. I can even hear like Rolling Stones style guitar interplay between the guys, and then finding out that there's the various members of different eras of Guns N' Roses in the band.
Yeah, that's right.
And you said someone from UMI?
David Lane, yeah.
David Lane, of course he is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I love that sort of unabashed rock and roll, and when he sings, like he's got "We Take Our Love on the Rocks," and then you hear him go, "Barkeep, make mine a double." Like he's not ashamed to live in that world. Like it's not, I mean, I know members of the band have been in Ryan Adams play with Ryan Adams, but he's not ashamed to take it. He's not alt country. He's just right there, down in Southern America.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I wondered why he didn't just release it as his own, because it's his own music.
He's
Why
done
didn't he go?
Well, he's done a couple of solo albums, but his story is that once he actually started playing some of these songs to his friends, they all said, "This really sounds like Bash and Pop."
Right.
And it was after The Replacements had got back together again a couple of years ago, so it was sort of that the timeline started again almost for him.
Yeah.
I like that there's sort of a Christmas song on there as well. A very sad rock and roll Christmas song. I thought, I might listen to that. Great album, nice, good, solid rock album. Yeah. What more can you say? I probably wouldn't listen to it in 10 years' time, though. It's not. I'd probably turn to Bruce Springsteen over this guy, but a good album.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it does live in that world, as you say, not pretending to be anything better or different, and just loving being the kind of grizzled bar band that he's been in for 30 years. Even when he was in a shit version of Guns N' Roses, he was still someone who believed in the idea of a rock and roll song. And some of the best people are people who do that. Ryan Adams and Springsteen are the people who believe in it. And if you believe in it, you can make ordinary things sound passionate enough to love. And it's not a great album, but it's a good record that does all the things it needs to do and doesn't try to be Foxygen and say we can throw in a 50-piece orchestra, so we can throw in a third guitar because that's how tough we are.
Well, I like this album, so I gave it 4 stars.
Awesome.